A lot of press in different countries of the world and also here in the UK about social media, about X, about Instagram, about Threads, about Blue Sky. You know, these platforms that are wildly popular, that have millions, hundreds of millions of users between them, that are really interesting, where it's possible to find posts about politics and memes and cool AI generated graphics and videos that people are sharing, and also to join fandoms and interest hobby based groups, that sort of thing. And lawmakers have become increasingly hysterical about the use of such apps and other technology applications and websites by children. They're trying to ban children who understand politics and what they do as a job from using websites where they feel that some content is going to be offensive. Remember, X is not a porn website, Threads is not a terrorist network, and Instagram is not somewhere where you can host child pornography, and that's its brand. These are open platforms that are usually clean, they are safe, they are also policed. There are security bodies and companies that look at these all day, every day of the year, to try to find actors that are transferring their crime onto accounts that they set up. Russian bots are not really the problem. People that are already breaking the law and are trying to find other ways to do it can be, and it takes time. It takes up to 4 weeks to take down a criminal actor who is trying to mainstream their crime onto these openly accessible platforms, which actually have a much higher level of integrity, at least on the app-based versions, than they're given credit for. So there's been a lot of talk in law houses about banning children from accessing them. Or I've met plenty of parents that monitor their child do. A lot of them don't use parental tools or software, which are also known to be effective. They instruct their child on what they can do. They also watch what apps they've got on their iPad, and they will delete an app if they've mistakenly downloaded it. Some parents also lock out their children from their account on the device. So there's been a lot of hysteria about people who are too young to understand technology happening to see things that are wrong. Well, this is the world of crime in the world that we live in. Bad stuff happens out of the blue. It comes out at us like a jack in the box. It's a surprise. Bad stuff comes up on clean, pure platforms because bad people come in weekly to try to use them. But there are good people fighting off the bad people, and it's okay. It's a case of whether platforms owned by companies are being monitored properly by those companies, whether they're leaving open back doors, you know, the back door you've got to your house or your parliament, whether those back doors are being left open or not. But usually platforms are healthy places to engage with other people if you decide to. If you want to follow, subscribe, or swipe through, it's your choice. It's your behavior that determines the quality, not the evil. If I act as a bad person on social media, it doesn't mean that I'm going to see bad material or even stay on the account that I've got. Your behavior determines what type of interesting things that you want to see, and that is how children think about it. So keeping more mature content separate from interests that are more regularly seen as childlike is one way to approach it. Just like in a bookshop, there is a child section. There are other sections, more adult content, novels, and other types of work that wouldn't be either interesting or suitable for younger readers. But there is a child section that is separate and marked out and obviously for children. This is how rational, logical people do it. Closed states look at the age group and the age range and the app and the content and try to fiddle with settings from the highest level. So we have to avoid being influenced by those types of setups, where it's not always the president doing it, but there are pressures and there are people that want to put in their own rules and their own guidelines to engineer their own outcomes. We have to be careful that we don't begin to legislate through a free society. I've been told this by police officers that are specialists in information technology, internet communications, app and web development. They've told me that daily children seeing harmful content is not the problem. So we don't have that issue in the UK. We do have an issue with hyperactive left-leaning parties. We have an issue with their ranks being infiltrated by the ignorant, the dumb and the stupid. That's what we have a problem with. The Labour Party is in the majority. They have the biggest issue with this, so it would come up, it would surge, it would trend during a Labour government. This is why, this is the reason it's coming up. But the UK is not going to dictate to any child internationally what app they should use. We know that app companies largely are responsible developers of information technology. We know that they settle disputes properly, maturely and lawfully in courts of law. And we also know that the problem is with the user. We hope it isn't with you. And that's basically the basis, the premise of the law. We hope this is going okay, but we're looking at what you're doing. And that is how it really should be. We don't need to be a big brother state to children. We don't really need the fear-mongering to take over from reasonable, rational dialogue about how much tax people should pay, about how much the council tax should be, or stamp, that sort of thing. We don't need to mix these things together and fearmonger among the child population. They're doing okay, according to research I've seen that is being conducted by some police forces and some other policing agencies in the UK. Children are actually doing okay online. Our children in the UK are seen as being among, not above, but among the responsible children globally for how they use modern technology. It's why we update schools, because we have a culture that is developing or emerging where children are showing themselves to be responsible. So let's not give them a bad name. They can't complain. They have to go to bed at an earlier time. They can't stay up and argue into the early hours. So as far as I'm aware, policing sources have told me that it's okay. Social media is okay in the public square. It's okay at home. It's okay to involve politics, your views. You will not become the god of our system. You are not a dictator in the making. Just use common sense. Use some rationales that are already out there and you'll be okay. That's what they said to me. They said this to me years ago. They'd already wrapped up all of their research. They said it's fine, but they knew that it might come out in this ugly, awful way by some misled representatives.